just wanted to refer to some comments made earlier this evening by the young lady, Miss Mai, and I thank you very much for those comments. I believe none of us on the board knew about the property in the Chicago Loop area. On Tuesday evening, I asked this gentleman right here from Bradford Development, had they worked with Mariano's on any previous projects? And if I'm correct, you mentioned 3 properties, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And I asked, had they received any type of incentives from any municipality or government to build those projects? And the gentleman was kind enough to reply, and he said yes. One of the communities offered an incentive, and that was Arlington Heights. I'm sorry, what municipality?
Vernon Hills.
Vernon Hills, I apologize, Vernon Hills, and they offered a sales tax rebate. Okay, that's a little bit different. Project was built, and then once revenue started coming in from the store, they received a rebate. I believe most of you know what a rebate is. Okay, so no money was put up front for the project to go forward. Now, another one of my concerns is, I know Mariano's is extremely popular. Last night, my wife and I drove up Northwest Highway into Arlington Heights, and we shopped at Mariano's. It was the first time my wife was there. It was the second time I was at a Mariano's. We had a wonderful evening. Beautiful store, clean, new. But as you may know, when you buy a new car, whether it's a Chevy or a Mercedes, it's wonderful to have a new car. It shines, it sparkles, it smells clean like a new car. So everyone's excited, it makes a very good impression. Okay? It's not like a grocery store that we have here that's been around for 30, 40, 50 years. It's gone through fatigue and use. So it's not the same. So when you go into a store like that, your eyes kind of pop open and you go, wow. You know? So, and Trustee Shepard asked a little bit earlier on, I just adding this for a little bit of humor to lighten up the mood here. Do they have good prices? Well, some of the prices were very good. I bought a pound of Polish Krakus ham for $2.99. Had that for lunch this afternoon. But other items were kind of priced beyond my budget. And I know that several of you have approached me throughout the past several weeks and months. One gentleman who sits on a neighboring board for the fire department told me, Mark, his first name's Andy, I won't mention his last name, but most people probably know who he is. I said, Mark, you know, my wife and I, we don't go shopping at Jeweler Dominic's unless it's on sale or we have coupons. Okay. So I saw in their display case a twice-baked potato. Looked very nice. I like twice-baked potatoes with sour cream. I'm sorry, yes, I do. Okay. That twice-baked potato cost $4.99. So if I wanted to buy twice-baked potatoes for my family, my wife and my daughter, it would cost me $15 just for 3 potatoes. I don't know about you, but for $15 I could buy a lot of potatoes. Okay. What I'm getting down to, okay, there was a lot of people there, maybe not as much as when I visited the Mariano's on Western and Roscoe, just south of Addison by Lane Tech over there. The place was packed. But to me, I think the popularity is because it's something new, something exciting, something different. People were visiting. Okay? There's a time where that fad wears out. And what happens when that fad wears out? 2 years or 3 years or 5 years down the road. What am I saying right now? The same thing I said Tuesday night when I asked the question. Some of you may remember Krispy Kreme donuts. People were falling left and right over trying to get a Krispy Kreme donut in our town. Okay? One in Summit down on Harlem Avenue by the Stevenson Expressway. Another one in Rosemont. And I remember when Rosemont got theirs, big announcement. We have a Krispy Kreme donut. We're set for life. Okay? My question is, where is that Krispy Kreme donut right now? Okay? So, and the more information I've learned about it, about Mariano's, and the more questions I have. It's not, normally the more information you get, you tend to answer your questions. And the more I kept reading about this, the more questions started coming up. You know, there was an article in the Milwaukee Journal in March of last year They laid off 62 people out of their main office. And they said in this article that Mr. Roy Schmidt sent to the entire board earlier this afternoon, I believe about noontime, that they had a debt of $1.5 billion. Okay? And if you do some research, the Wikipedia site said that they have a debt of about $800 million, and I could keep going on and on. I know Trustee Magoulias, I've spoken with him. He's done quite a bit of research on behalf to make sure that if we do make some kind of investment in our town, we make sure that we have a good bet. There's always risks, okay? And I'm not saying we shouldn't take a risk, but the question is, should we take a risk at this level? It's an extremely high risk. Thank you.
Questions of the board. Thank you.
My observation, this has been a long process, and there's been a lot of repetitive comments from a couple of board members, and it's been the same theme over and over. I mean, it's important that one understands the facts before a presentation is made, and I think as a trustee, there's a responsibility to evaluate an issue based on the facts. And if you don't listen to your consultants and take on the obligations of doing all your research yourself, sometimes there's difficulty in kind of working through the entire thing. Mariano's has had a history of being in the grocery store business for almost 100 years, and they've been extremely successful. The grocery store business, like every business today, has been extremely competitive, and their margins, like all grocers today, have suffered with the economy, but they continue to grow and they have a good franchise and a good name. But this is the process, and we're here to listen to the comments and then ultimately for the individuals up here to decide. So we're ready for a vote, and I'm sure the audience is as well. Thank you.
You didn't answer any questions.
Okay, we have a motion, a second discussion with village clerk Harwood.
Trustee Zabritsky.
No.
Trustee Gudzinski.
Aye.
Trustee Steiner.
Aye.
Trustee Magoulias.
No.
Trustee Scheffer.
Aye.
And Trustee Schlendeck.
I want to make a statement before I do my vote. I'm not against the project. The agreement that we are voting on right now is that if we get the money, we buy the property, then as an incentive, we're going to turn that property over to the developer. Our attorney, Mark Henley, sent me an email, and he pointed out that there were 2 properties built in Chicago. According to him, he did not find any special incentives to build the property. There were 2 properties, 2 stores built in Arlington Heights. I'm sorry, one in Arlington Heights and one in Palatine. By the way, the one in Arlington Heights is not a new store, and it's very successful. They did not receive an incentive. At least, as according to him, he says he could not find turn up any evidence of the deal between any combination of Bradford, Mariano, Palatine, and Arlington Heights.
Can I answer that?
Allow me to finish it.
Okay.
The only case where he found incentive, as he puts it, to lure Mariano's Fresh Market was the town of Vernon Hills. Vernon Hills' incentive to the developer, Bradford Lease, is 20 to 30% rebate of sales tax for the 15 years, and it is capped at $1.5 million. None of these towns put their money up front. I am willing to be even more generous than Vernon Hills. I am willing to let the developer keep 50% of the Mariano sales tax for the next 20 years, or $5 million. But getting a loan, getting a property, and basically turning it over for $100, there's no guarantee that we're going to get our money back
I'm sorry, I have to vote no.
With a tie of 3 noes and 3 yeses, I vote for the affirmative yes for the.
We stand at the hand, can you leave this house?
Next on the agenda is item I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
No sorry.
No, sorry, you're gonna say
We have the power.
you work for us, not we for you. You are for us, not we are for you. You cannot decide for us. Why are you doing this? What kind of party you have? That we gonna get this money back?
Calling the police right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, go! Go, because we are here.
You have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of speech.
Guys, please relax. Just please relax.
Mayor, I just want to say, if I can say something?
Yeah. Mr. Lesney, as much as I'd like to, we have to go with the program of the established ordinance and agenda, and you have.
Hide behind your rules.
You want to buy my house?
Yeah, can you give me the land and I can build a house? Can you give me the land?
And I'm gonna pay half of my taxes. For you, you're gonna buy me a house. Why? It's not gonna be a good deal? For me, great. For you?
Just remember my election
Do
account.
I have a second? Trustee Steiner?
People vote for you and you are against people now.
Trustee Schlendeck?
Thank you, Mayor. I know Danny quite well.